Hey everybody, I am going to share with you my day 24 gratitude in a video blog today because what I experienced was so profound and so layered that as I got permission to share it out, I thought that's going to be a very long post. So I'm going to try and make it quick, but I would say again, today was another day for hashtag no coincidences. So I started this morning up early intentionally with just a very sweet, quiet time to set my day. And it was really quite juicy, full of ahas. Wow, I had a lot to think about. And so my brain was sort of swirling, and I just closed my eyes to sort of center, and I fell back to sleep. When I woke up, it was almost 10 a.m., which is unheard of for me. But I just thought, you know what? I'm going to get a lot done today because my hours are shorter. So it will be a good day and it'll be productive. So I got some good things done professionally in the office, and then I headed out to run some errands. And on my way back to the office, I thought, I should stop by and see if I can get a new license because I lost mine and I need it. But it's just such an arduous thought to handle all that. But I had just come back from the grocery store. I had popsicles in the car, and I thought I'll just pop right in there and see what I can do. And I just as I was leaving, the woman said, we don't do that here. You're going to have to go to the other building. And just as I was turning, a woman opened the door and she just looked frazzled. And she's like, where is there an ATM? Can I get an ATM machine? Where is one? And we said, well, there's one up the street at, Safeway. And she said, well, I'm on foot. Can you tell me how to get there? So I gave her directions. And then I said, I'm just leaving. I'm happy to drop you off there if you want to ride. I'm happy to do that. So, we got into the car, and she made some comments like, wow, I'm getting into a car. I haven't been into a car for such a long time. And then, I didn't make mention. I was just listening to her. And then as we were driving, she was looking at landmarks and noting them. And she said, okay, well, Walgreens is to the right, McDonald's is to the left. We were in Rose Hill. And she said, and the bus runs right here somewhere. And I said, oh yeah, the bus is right here outside of McDonald's. And she said, oh, because I live in Redmond and I came up here to go to the dollar store, and I've just been running all over trying to get money from the cash machine, and my card isn't working, and this way I'll know how to get back on the bus. So I said, okay. And so I dropped her by Walgreens first, and I said, there's a cash machine in there, but I'm happy to wait, and I can drop you off back to the dollar store. She's like, oh, no, I'll be fine. She got out of the car, and she asked me if I had any pets because she works at a pet store. She had got a new job, and I said no. She said, well, I wish pets for you because you seem to have a very sweet and gentle spirit. Thank you so much for the ride. So I said, sure, and hopped in the car and was at the streetlight, and I thought, why am I not just taking her grocery shopping and then running her down the hill from Kirkland back to Redmond? I don't right off the top of my head think of these things. I heard someone say the other day, do-gooder or goody two-shoes, and I'm certainly not one of those people, but I'm quiet enough to listen to a download if I have an intuition, or if I'm getting a sense, that I'm supposed to be moving in a different direction. And I do that really because somebody stopped and paused for me. I remember not having a car when I was younger. I remember needing help a lot of the time and wishing people would ask for help, ask me if I needed help, or just really wanting it. And so it came to my mind, so I looped right around, and as soon as I did, she's walking out of the store. Her hair is down now. She just looks like she's about to be in tears. And so I hopped out of the car, I called her by name, and she told me that machine isn't working either, that she would now go to Safeway. So I told her, I'll go with you to Safeway. We'll see if their cash machine is working. And, you know, I'd be happy to take you back to the dollar store and then drive you home if you want, because I can do that. And so here's the deal. We went to Safeway. What the banker and I soon found out is it's not that the cash machines all along were not working for her. It's that she did not know how to operate them. You see, she just got her first paycheck in a year and a half, and she just got a debit card, and she didn't know how to use it because for 4 years she was pretty much locked up. She was a victim of domestic violence, and she didn't tell me this right off. But in staying present with her and trying to help her get to what she really needed, what she needed was to be shown how to use that ATM and how to read the labels on the card so that she could see, oh, these labels match those labels, this ATM will take my card, and then how to actually do it. When we got the money out, she only had $20 available to take out. When we got that out and we walked outside, she just started crying and holding and staring that $20 bill. And she said, "You have no idea what this means to me." And she just started crying and she said, "I'm sorry." And I said, "Just be where you are. No apologies needed." And she told me, she said, "I have not had money of my own for a year and a half. I just got a job last week and this is my first paycheck. This is my money." And so we got back in the car and I took her back to the store and she just began to talk and I began to listen to her story. I want you to know that it is no coincidence that I woke up late this morning and had just such a beautiful time in setting my day and my intentions and understanding why we're given the gifts that we're given, why we're given the time that we're given, why we're giving the opportunities that we're given are for a purpose outside of ourselves. And that's the download I had gotten this morning when I went back to sleep, so that I would be ready for her today. You know, I still didn't even connect those dots right away, but she sure did. And then so I drove her back into Redmond and she told me her story. We ended up talking for 2 hours and mostly I just listened. I want you to know that if you are a victim of domestic violence, you are worthy and you are valuable. You are worthy to be seen. And even if people don't hear your story or don't believe your story, it does not change your value and your worth. I want you to know that. She said through her tears, "You have given me something, the next piece in my puzzle to healing." And she said, "You did not make me invisible." She said, "Kim, I was running up and down that mallway looking for help, for someone to help me because I needed to get groceries, because I was hungry, and because I had just moved into some new housing and I'm trying to get my life together, and people were not seeing me. They were not seeing me. They were looking past me." And she said, "I want you to know that I wasn't going to go to that DMV, but I was drawn to that DMV building." And I said, "Why were you drawn to it?" She said, "Because I could feel it, that I was going to get help in there. But as soon as I opened that door, you turned around and I said, and I saw you and I saw this. And I said, she's not going to see me, but you saw me." And she cried. When I dropped her off at home, she pulled out from her dollar store on her own. She pulled out these slippers and she started crying, and she shared with me a little part of that story about how these are the slippers that she gets to wear now. For the first time, she doesn't have to be in soiled and dirty socks because she was left in the dark without food, And in her poor state and not having access to the restroom and etc. for 6 weeks in the dark. And she said, I have these slippers that she could buy for herself from the dollar store. And she turned them over and she showed me the grips on the bottom, and she said, and they have grips, and so this helps me in my PTSD. She said, because sometimes I have that for my experience. She said, but this tells me that there's grippies on the bottom and I can run if I need to. She was thankful for the organizations, Dress for Success, who had given her clothes. She was thankful for the organization who had through a grant is paying for her housing. She's grateful for this job she just got, and she was grateful for the time that we had together. Now, I had said to her, I said, you know, I want to tell you about LifeWire. Have you heard about LifeWire? Hashtag no coincidences. I just got trained from that organization last month, and it is all to support domestic violence victims. Well, she had not heard about it, and I shared with her about the whether it's housing programs or legal assistance or helping with food or you know, just reacclimating into life. I said their hearts are big and their hearts are generous. And I said, I'm not going to give you my phone number and my contact information because as a volunteer, I'm not supposed to, but you can contact me through that organization. And I think that the benefit of that organization is much greater than what I can offer you. And she said, you know, I didn't ask you for your number because I thought you might say no, and I didn't want to deal with that. But she was very encouraged of the reason why. And that's because there was more availed to her from that organization. Now, that said, she had spent some time sharing with me about butterflies and how they had always been a part of her life, and how now they represent a rebirth and a transformation because she's committed to, you know, her future, as she cried throughout different parts of her story. And she went on and told me about butterflies. And, you know, I have a beautiful butterfly story too, but I just listened. And then she turned around as she was getting out of my car and she said, your car is so beautiful. And she turned around, and in the back of my seat was a book that I co-authored called The Incredible Life: Top Experts Reveal How to Create Yours. And on it was a butterfly. And she just got really quiet. And I said, go ahead and reach for that. And I said, you know, I think you're supposed to have this book because I don't usually carry these books in my car. And clearly it has a butterfly on it. And if you have it, you know, I have something in there for you. It's a chapter called From Fear to Freedom. And she was really blessed by that. I want you to also know that just before that, I had given her a purse from you, Debbie Whitlock. When I came home to put my popsicles in the freezer, I said, I'll be right back in less than 10 minutes to get you. I came home and there were your bags that you had donated for Dress for Success. And I pulled out some things, namely a bag, a big leather, beautiful bag that you had. And I gave it to her and she started to cry. And she said, you know, everything, or a lot of things when you are a domestic violence victim and you experience that, a lot of things are very significant to you. And she said, this is significant to me because I carried these reusable, recyclable bags, like 3 of them, and I would always carry them with me with things in that in case I had an opportunity to escape. And she said, now I have a beautiful bag. And I said, you know what? What's also really neat for you to know is that the woman who gifted this bag is also one of the women that co-authored that book. And she just was really, it was a tender moment for her. And then I had given her a sweater that was in my bag to donate because just this morning, for whatever crazy reason, I noted that it was 45 degrees and that 45 degrees felt cold. Anyway, that's my gratitude today. I'm grateful for many things. I want you to know that I'm grateful for the truth that no matter what your belief system is, God is always at work around you. Now, she and I differed on philosophies and we didn't even spend much time there. But what I did tell her is like, this was not a coincidence. That even, several years ago, I would not be the one to stop and pause and adjust my day like this because I was so type A, so driven, so on my own time clock. But you see that God had been preparing me in being in tune with what's going on around me because He's always at work around me. I just need to slow down. And because of that, I was able to see you. And because of that, I was able to happily adjust this day. So if you're like her and you feel like you are unseen and you are unheard, keep taking risks to ask for what you need. Because just like I told her, there might be so many people who say no and they don't see you. But you remember back to days and experiences like you had today. You exercise that muscle and you say, I was seen and I was heard. And you exercise that courage muscle to continue to ask for what you need and align yourself with the people who will see you. Because let me tell you, you have purpose, you matter, and this is not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence. I am grateful for her. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for her permission to share. And I'm grateful for friends who have stopped and paused for me, who have made me, who's been invisible a lot of my life, visible. Thank you for making me visible. Thank you for championing me. Thank you, God, for championing me so that I can truly stop and pause and champion others. That's my gratitude. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I know it's long, but it is good and it is juicy. Okay? Bless you. Bye-bye.